All right. So let's see if this works at all. All right. Fred got his wish. I think that's the easiest thing for me to start with. Um, so just to see if you can hear me, I got a loud and clear. So I think that you're seeing pixelation like crazy. My internet is even worse than normal. So we couldn't. Something changed in the YouTube app, and Jeff couldn't get the orientation to switch to be like landscape, and then after it wouldn't change, then we couldn't get it to start. So yeah. So this is just one of those things that happens, I guess. So my device works. We're super behind when we normally would start, but yeah. So yeah, just pausing for a moment because like whoa, technical difficulties are. I feel like technology has a way of like amplifying samsara at times. To put it as nicely as I can. So yeah, so we're super behind, so I won't belabor the point too much, but in case you're tuning in for the first time, welcome to the technical difficulties version of the Do Nothing Project. It's always important to keep your expectations incredibly low, just like what they might be at the moment. My name is Andy. I am not Jeff Warren. Jeff Warren is, as Paul pointed out earlier, and more than a slight delight, an incredible delight. So I'm filling in for Jeff. We're going to do a 25-minute meditation. And we'll start very, very soon. So if you haven't already, find a posture that will help you be supportive. So my name is Andrew. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach. As some of you will know, I am Andrew in the blue font. I'm also the moderator, and I fill in for Jeff from time to time. And yeah, so we were having our technical difficulties, and so I'm sort of seeing chat at the same time, but I'm also in like full information overload mode. I did appreciate folks for calling out what are their professions, and I did see there are lots of teachers amongst the group, and so I think the teachers will appreciate when you just have to throw your lesson plan out and you do things on the fly, and that's what we're doing. So maybe we'll title this one "No Lesson Plan." But yeah, and then this is like the moniker of a team that has lost 3 games to start the season. I feel like the Minnesota Vikings are helping me. They're my teacher in trying to generate as much equanimity as possible and realize that sports is not important. So every Sunday, the Vikings are teaching me that sports are not important. So thank you for that lesson 3 times so far this year. All right. Yes, I'm substituting. Somebody actually messaged me earlier and said, Jeff's going tonight, right? And I said, yes, of course. So careful what I say. All right. So thank you to Jeff Groves, who pointed out long ago that when my phone is actually on cellular mode, it makes noise. So I've got my phone on airplane mode. Thank you to Jeff Groves, and a big hello to everyone. I was in chat briefly for there, but yeah. So Julie Glanton, hello. You're from. So I am originally from the land of 10,000 Lakes as well. The sort of Anoka area originally. So yeah. So that's why I have the purple and gold affliction, I guess. Yeah. So we're gonna do this thing called meditation. And we're gonna do probably a very close to nothing or do nothing, nothing kind of style practice. All right, here we go. All right. And as you start out, just let the fancy bell from Japan kind of fade off into the distance. And really just starting out with just checking into the body. And so you could be in any one of the 4 postures that are really possible for meditation. So you could be standing, maybe, if you want a little more energy. Could be lying down. Could be walking. And if so, I hope your eyes are open. Or you could be sitting on a chair or sitting on a cushion. All of them are equally spiritual and supportive of the practice. But if you're sitting in a chair or sitting on a cushion, just seeing if you can sit upright. So we're endeavoring to be upright but not uptight. And maybe just pausing with a few breaths here to feel as you settle in. On the inhale, you feel maybe a little bit of a rise of the torso, and then on the exhale, you feel a little settling of the torso. And then just seeing what's here, just starting with what's here, really. So maybe your Sunday was very relaxing, so you can feel that the body is in a relaxed state, and that's great. And again, no problem. Or maybe you feel some tension, so tension in the shoulders, tension maybe around the jaw, the eyes. And that's really our first opportunity to bring a no big deal attitude to that. So if there's tension, again, no big deal, no problem. And then a few deliberate breaths just to help us settle all the way in here. And slow and low is the tempo we're looking for. So breathing in through the nose allows us to breathe low into the belly. Breathing low into the belly allows us really to pause for a moment and extend that exhale. And then just marking this spot here is kind of a waypoint for us. So this notion of sitting and being aware that you're sitting, or sitting and knowing that you're sitting. So if you're pulled away or you need a reset in this time we have together, you can come back here. So just marking this spot. And truly, we won't wander too far from this spot. We'll be really leaning into the do-nothing side of things. And just a reminder, you're in the driver's seat here. If you have your own practice, you can totally do that. And also, if you don't feel like that shifting into do nothing is supportive enough for where you are right now, or what it's like to be in the body right now, then can always shift to working with a home base. And just a quick reminder, so if we're working with a home base, maybe we're working with a body sensation, maybe the breath. So really focusing on the breath, focusing on that body sensation, and allowing ourselves to be near that sensation, and knowing that the mind will drift away a little bit and then we come back. So that's one option. The other would be working with sounds as a home base. So maybe there's a vent or a ceiling fan. Sort of allowing our attention to soak into that. And we can use a label if we need to. So that's the working with a home base side if you need that. Or you desire that actually more. And the other option is to really sort of loosen up. So if we feel a bit uptight, we're sort of loosening up into not having any technique. We're sort of giving our mind and our attention and our experience the biggest pasture possible. Or to put it back into Shinzen's terms for the instructions, we let go of any intention to control our attention. And if we notice that arising, we let it go. And so explore in either way, and I'll check back in with you in a bit. And so you may give your mind this like gigantic pasture, as big as it can be, and then suddenly the mind wants to count breaths, or sort of it's headed over into one part of the pasture that frustrates you. Again, that can happen. So just seeing if you can pull back and let the mind just be frustrated. And then when we sit and do nothing, it might also be a little bit more difficult to grasp what's a good way to reset. So sitting with the posture, sort of tuning into whether or not your posture is balanced and symmetrical as a starting point, just kind of resetting the posture. Almost like this idea that you can stretch up and settle back in as many times as you need to. And sort of starting with repositioning the body and then moving back to letting go of the technique. And then finally, if you feel frustrated enough, you could shift from do nothing to a home base. You'd be like, you gave it the college try here, so shifting to a home base. Totally optional, or is totally a thing you could do. And the same is true if you took up the path of working with a home base and you're feeling like maybe you're too uptight around the home base. And just seeing if you can relax more and draw back a bit. And then we're always kind of balancing what we need in the moment and the ability that we can balance that. So you can see what's here, sort of saw what was here to start with and what's here now. And how can I use that to adjust and apply a technique? All right, so keep going. So I heard a Dharma talk recently that's kind of related to, or maybe we'll use a little bit as an inspiration for our friendliness practice here as we close out. And the comment was from the teacher to sort of say, may you see your presence here as an offering to yourself. So if you want to go into a more visual idea, maybe the notion that you could reach into your heart center, or sort of reach into a white light in your heart center and bring forward an offering that you could offer to someone here. Sort of offering just maybe in a mental or visual or physical sense of, may my presence here be an offering to you. And that offering, that sort of whatever is coming out of that white light, is whatever you might think is helpful for that person. May you find this practice useful. So that would be one sort of strategy, and that's you kind of offering that to each and every one here. All 111 people. Sort of, again, reaching in, knowing that you have so much to offer, pulling that forward, putting it forward with care, and offering it. May you find this of use. May your practice be, may your practice be. If you want, you can use something more traditional phrase, offering it to someone that comes to mind. More traditional phrases like, may you feel safe, may you live with ease. Or continuing to make this offering. May the world feel less chaotic. And again, if you want, you can drop the phrases all together and see if you can cultivate that warm-hearted feeling. Just from feeling into it and maybe from a visualization perspective. And then increasing and widening the aperture of this warm-hearted friendliness to the whole community. Making the offering, may you know, actually I don't even know what. May you know how much it means that you're here. Or something along the lines of, may you feel supported. And then just really briefly, trying to see if we can expand that sort of beyond all of what we can even think of, and sort of in all directions. Offering a bit of gratitude, and doing so with care. Huge amount of gratitude for everyone who stuck around while we had while we had fresh new technical difficulties. One second, let me see. Sure. Thank you for everyone being here. Thank you for your patience, like I said. Thank you as always to Jeff and Milin and Lily. I'm glad. Thank you, Brooke. I'm glad that was beautiful. Yeah. And a big sorry to Jeff that you weren't able to do this today. The internet is not. The internet is not always to be relied on. So let's see. Trying to think of. I've got I've got my chat window up here so I can read it a little bit easier there. So paradox is still the theme for the CEC, and friend of the show, frequent guest host, Aaron, the director of the CEC, is your guide tomorrow night. So that is Monday. Let's see, it's 4:30 my time, so that's 7:30 Eastern. And so that's that. That's the next spot you have. I'm fingers crossed hoping to do a meditation on Wednesday. You can find my meditation channel on YouTube if you look for Andrew Lenards, Lenards. Or if you search for Andrew Lenards meditation, that is at 8:15. So about 15 minutes later than we normally start, and 7 minutes earlier than we started today. So yeah, I'm trying to think of if there are any other things for us to plug. I do think that there is still room for Omega, and one second, I'm going to. There we go. I'm going to hide that user. So there you go. Moderation in action. Yeah, so we can do both here. A little bit of contraindication here as I multitask. But yeah, so super bummed that Jeff couldn't do tonight, but happy I could fill in a pinch here. Yeah, I'm not against Oi, Paul, but 5 in a row is a little much. And then Jeff will be here. We will hopefully have figured out our orientation lock issues with the app and the other things. YouTube is always trying to make everything better, and sometimes that means there's some broken things along the way. So, but yeah, thanks to everybody, and have an excellent week. And yeah, we'll see you next Sunday.